Happy New Year, amazing one, and welcome to the Sassy CEO podcast. I'm Paula Bailey, your host, and it's the new year. So what a perfect time of the year to start planning. This is the time of year that most people start setting goals, creating plans, setting up their intentions for how they want the next 12 months to go. But for majority of business owners, it's also all over by February and gone back to old patterns, old ways, and we can feel really disgruntled, but not this year. I want to help you start setting up your very own strategic plan so that you can plan like the fastest growth companies on the planet. Bring it on. So in this episode, it's a two-part series, but in this episode, we're going to start laying the foundations for your plan. This is perfect for you if you feel that you've been very overwhelmed in business. Maybe you sit there and you're like constantly comparing yourself to others and you just get stuck in this comparison mode. You feel like you just don't hit your revenue targets. There's just never enough money in the bank account. You find it really hard to switch off and you're just ready for something bigger. You know that you're destined for something bigger. It's just time to start setting your plan up so that you can get to where you want to be in 12 months' time. I want you to hit your target. So in this episode, we're going to start laying the foundations for your plan, as I said, but we're also going to do things that help you make sure that the plan actually follows through, that you're actually developing a robust plan that helps you set goals that are actually important to you. We're going to help you realize the magic of going big in the next 12 months. Okay, so I'm going to share some of the secrets with you. This is designed to be really interactive, so make sure you're ready to sort of hit pause and do some of the things that I say. I go through how to do all of that in the episode. So I guess on that note, let's just get straight into it and start planning for 2020. Let's go. Happy New Year, amazing one. We are in 2020 and it is so exciting because I love it. I love the smell of a fresh new year. It's an opportunity to set fresh new intentions and to begin laying our plans for what we want to do in not only, I guess, the next 12 months, but also the next decade, because we're in this unique situation. We're also at the start of a new decade, which is even more exciting. And I think the perfect time to start thinking about what you are going to be planning for your business in the coming 12 months and in the coming 10 years. That feels like it's heavy. It doesn't have to be, but that is why I'm creating this very episode for you, so we can start to help you create your very own strategic plan so you can get to exactly where you want to be in a year's time, in 2 years' time, or in 10 years' time. So I obviously do a lot of planning. If you've been following me for a little bit, or even if you're new to the Sassy CEO world, one of the core things that we do with all our Sassy CEO clients is setting up a strategic plan so that they can start to reduce overwhelm, have greater clarity on where the business is going, and make better decisions so that growth can be faster, easier, and feel better for them, sort of in alignment with what they want out of their life as well, which is super cool. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I guess this podcast is now the next iteration for how I would like to deliver this particular type of value to you as my audience. Last year I did it as a big challenge in our Facebook group, and I've done events, we've done 1-day events, we've done 2-day events, we've done 5-day events, we've done online versions of it. But this year I wanted to really change it up and use the podcast as a platform to help you start to set up your plans as a gift from me to you. And my intention for this series is to basically start by making this a bit of a theme for the next couple of episodes. So if you're listening to this is the first episode of this planning series, and it's designed for you to basically listen to, but also be really active. So I'm not just passively listening to it. If you're like me and you like to be walking or doing your exercise or something like that while you're listening to your podcast, that's awesome. But I really do encourage you to listen to these episodes, but be in a space where you could actually pause and do the work, because listening passively is awesome. You're just not going to get as much out of it. The real magic comes from actually executing and taking action on the activities that I've got lined up for you. They're really easy, they're enjoyable, and they're designed to really help you I guess, think a little bit differently, which is what I'm all about. Think a little bit differently about how you see your business, how you see yourself, how you see your wealth and your growth in the future. So that's the biggest tip I've got for you as you're listening to the next couple of episodes, is to really use it as an opportunity to actually do the work, because that's where you're going to get the magic. Don't forget, you can also join our Sassy CEO Society group to be posting your learnings and your ahas, and to just be getting some more support around creating your plan. So on that note, let's just get straight into some of the things that I want to go through with you, the juiciness that I want to go through in terms of you setting up your strategic plan. And today really is all about looking at things in review. And I know we're all excited for the new year and it's fresh, and we want to just go set our targets and start thinking about all the new opportunities and what we're going to do. But there is so many lessons in what has been. And I think a lot of people miss that. I'm not asking you to live in the past. And in fact, some people take this too far and almost only stay in the past and only look at everything from, retrospectively. But I think a short period of looking retrospectively to see what has been can actually uncover a lot of clues for us. So I always like to begin planning with any clients by looking at what has been, so we can really see whether there's opportunities or learnings that we can actually leverage on. So the very first thing I want you to actually do, and the choice is really yours here. I have seen a lot of reviews going around at the moment that are looking at doing reviews of the last decade, and that's awesome. I just know from all my experience in human behavior and performance that for many, many of us, that could be overwhelming. And I'm all about simple flow, moving forward. And so if you are someone that tends to overthink things or get overwhelmed quite easily, my recommendation would just be to look at the last 12 months. But if you're like, no, I actually really want to look at the last decade and I want to review the last decade, then go for it. But I just want you to just be really aware of where you're at right now and whether that does really serve you. And if you feel like it's going to hold you back, don't do it. Just let's review the last 12 months. So the first thing I want you to look at is, in the last 12 months, say, if you're doing 12 months, I want you to think about the wins. So let's start with the good stuff. What has been the wins for your business in the last 12 months? What have you done well? What have been things that you could have celebrated? Maybe you didn't celebrate. It's really common for women in business to not celebrate the amazingness of things that have happened. So I'll give you some examples. And as you jot these down, they can actually be really useful for your marketing and for your sales. So for example, you might want to jot down all the amazing client wins that you've had, or the way that you've helped people with the services that you've got in business, or your products or your offerings. What have been some really great wins? And when you do that, take note of that, highlight that area, because you can come back to that later and actually use those to create better case studies for your business. So many women out there who are running client-facing businesses, consulting style businesses, don't take time to actually really capture that. You might have a client send something through, go, wow, I had this amazing thing happen, or, the thing that you did for me, or this service, or the thing that you taught me, or the way that you told me to do that, or whatever it is, depending on your style of business, right? Resulted in this and I love it. And we just go, oh, that's amazing. And then we don't really capture it. So this is the opportunity, guys. This is the opportunity for you to really think about going through what have been the client wins. If you're someone who struggles with this, very, very common, like we can be very hard on ourselves and we're like, oh no, they weren't good enough. I want you to literally get out a list of all the people that you've worked with in the last 12 months. And I want you to think about where they were when they started, where they are right now. Think about, have they sent you emails? Have they sent you a message on social media? Have they made a comment somewhere across, in Facebook land or Instagram land, where maybe they tagged you as a specialist or as an expert, or maybe they mentioned you and you just forgot to write that down and you forgot to snapshot that. So I call this as kind of like the beginnings of your own sparkle box. So we have sparkle boxes in Sassy CEO land where we actually capture all of that and we keep it in a hard drive on file, so that whenever we need case studies, or sometimes if a business owner is feeling a little bit flat, it's really great to review your sparkle box, because it makes you feel really good. It reminds you that you're actually doing great things in the world, and even on those hard days that we are actually doing good things. So I want you to think about your wins and your accomplishments in terms of your clients, What about team wins? You know, if you've got people that work within your business, they don't necessarily have to always be employees. Maybe you've got contractors, you've got actual proper team, people who just contribute to the running of your business, to the growth of your business. Where have you had some team wins? Maybe you've recently brought some people in to help you with stuff. That's a win. Just jotting those things down, and when you look at those, it's an opportunity for you to look at, you know, if I've got a team member that's had some great wins, or maybe they've had some great growth and you've not really thought about that because you've been so busy in just the day-to-day of things. This is the opportunity to review that and go, wow, you know, so-and-so has actually really grown in the last 6 months since they came on and they did this and this, you know, and this is an opportunity for me as a leader to think about, you know, is there more that I can be handing over to them to help me as a leader? Is there more that I can be giving to them because they're showing real possibility and real opportunity in who they are as a person? This whole exercise, everything I do is designed to help you think more like a leader, think more like a business owner in your business, because for so many of us, we start businesses often off our own bat. You know, it's maybe started from a skill set that you've got or knowledge that you've got because you're a specialist in a certain area, and it's so easy to get caught up believing that you just are the business, which is then extended out into often you doing everything and overcompensating in every aspect of your business. So doing exercises where you're actually reviewing this and taking a look at how things are going and looking at the wins is an opportunity for you to maybe even hand more off, you know, think about succession plans, thinking about how you want to work with your team next year. And if you're sitting there going, well, PB, I didn't actually have anyone, you know, that's okay, because in a little while we're going to look at where your lessons are, and maybe in your lessons you could start to look at, you know, well, actually I probably was doing a lot of things, like this is a list of things that I know now that I probably need to start letting go of and handing over to someone else. Don't let your brain go into the whole, but how will I do that? I don't know. I don't have the answers. This is not the time in the planning process to do that. This is just all about setting up the data and looking at what we've got on our plates, the opportunities, the lessons. It's not about problem solving. So if your brain's going there already, don't worry about that. I just want you to start reviewing and getting the lessons and the wins. Financial wins, a lot of us don't celebrate them. I'm really amazed at how many business owners I talk to out there who, well, don't really look at that. And when I ask them, you know, well, what did the business finish on at the end of the year? They don't actually even know that number. So don't freak out. Like if you're someone who's uncomfortable, or maybe you're like, oh gosh, my books are all in a mess, or I don't really have any clarity, that's something to put down maybe over in the lessons and learnings side of your page. But this is really about just taking some time to look at your financial, you know, wins. Like, was there, you know, a new client that you brought on, was, you know, which was the most that you'd ever charged and it felt really aligned and it was really good. Maybe it was about this year raising your prices and actually feeling better about that. You know, so thinking about anything to do with financial wins, because for many women in business, they sort of skip that one. They don't talk about it too much. And that really stems down to beliefs around making money, around being wealthy. So I really want you to challenge that now and reframe how you're thinking about the financial wins. And, you know, remember, what you focus on expands. So it's really important to actually be focusing on financial wins. If you never focus on them, you're never going to have them. You're never going to see them. So this is your opportunity now to pause this and actually brainstorm the financial wins. Even if you think, oh gosh, they're so minute, I bet you can find at least one mini financial win for your business. Yes, there's always opportunity for growth, but I guarantee there is somewhere in your business a little bit of an opportunity to celebrate. Okay, so I want you to think about that. Once you have, you know, elicited as many wins as you can for the whatever period you are looking at, whether it's a decade or whether it's a year, I then want you to switch over to the learnings. Now, before you go there, let's just stop. I want you to really make sure you have taken time and really elicited as many wins as you can. The best way that you can do that is to, as I said, get me to stop talking by hitting pause and set yourself a timer. Like you might set yourself a timer and say, I'm not allowed to stop writing until 10 minutes is up. And the reason why I say that is because for a lot of us, our brains are almost programmed to just skip over that. We don't want to celebrate. We always want to go to all the things that are broken, all the things that we want to fix. But it is so, so important for your brain and for the your success ongoing for you to actually be celebrating wins and looking at that. So I just want to emphasize that if you haven't done it, you know that internally, whether you haven't done it to your best of your ability, pause now and go back and do that. If you're ready though, let's head over into learning. So now I want you to have a column on your page that thinks about all the learnings that you've had, the lessons, maybe things that didn't go as well as you'd like, mistakes that you feel like you made or the team made, or decisions that you would review and you go, if I had that opportunity again, would I do that differently? Maybe it is, let's go back to what we were talking about before. Maybe it's confidence around your numbers and being able to make better decisions from actually understanding them. So if you're someone who's never even regularly reviewed that, you're not, all our Sassy CEOs do their monthly pulse where they're actually reviewing how many sales conversations did we have, how many leads did we generate, what was our revenue, how much money do we have outstanding, what are our debtors. It's so important as a business owner to be looking and reviewing that, because again, what you focus on expands, and to be able to make better decisions as business. So if you feel like, wow, I didn't really do that much and I probably could get better at that, that's an opportunity for you there to put it down as a learning. And you can use that then when you go to do your planning to actually create better priorities for you in your business. Like maybe it is that you set yourself up with a monthly set of time where you review that and you make decisions. Once a month you sit down, you're actually looking at it and you make decisions based on what the numbers are telling you. So some other learning examples might be client difficulties. Have you had difficult clients in the last 12 months? Have you had some things that didn't go, some projects or some opportunities with clients that didn't really go the way that you'd hoped? Perhaps it's opportunities for new clients to come on board that didn't quite hit, maybe people that never got back to you. Is there opportunities for you to think about the learnings in your own sales processes? And FYI, we will be talking about that in next week's episode as we talk a little bit more about revenue and revenue targets. But right now, I just want you to identify, and as a business owner, be really clear on where the learnings are, where the gaps are for you, so you can be really clear as you start to set up your expectations and your targets and your intentions for the coming year, that you're creating from a very intentional place, a place where you've really looked at, where are the gaps in the business right now, so that you're not just willy-nilly setting up, like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, which is what most people do. And that's why most people get nowhere, because they haven't really gone through a very specific process in order to set these intentions up very, very specifically. So you might have lessons around payments. Was cash flow tight at particular times of year? Or maybe you struggled with cash flow all year. Maybe you found yourself constantly chasing invoices and chasing up people to pay you. Very, very common for women who initially come and work with us. We completely cancel that out by changing up how they work with their clients. But for you, did you find yourself feeling frustrated, constantly feeling like you have to remind people to make their payment, feeling like there's a lot of people that owe you money, and in the meantime you're so busy, feeling overworked, trying to keep everything going, that it just keeps you up at night thinking about it all the time. So put it down in the learnings. I know sometimes it's not so comfortable to think about this stuff, but I promise good things come from actually being real with ourselves and going, where is the weakness here? We're sort of stress testing your business right now. We want to see where the weaknesses are so that we can start to help you to make stronger foundations for your business, so that you can grow how you actually always intended to grow. Okay, so this learning part is really, really, really important. Okay, so hopefully you've paused and you've come back to me, and you now have a beautiful, robust list of all the wins and accomplishments that you've had in the period that you're reviewing. And you've also got a really robust list of learnings and lessons that you've had in the period as well. And from that, you can probably already start to see there's some really great opportunities and ways that you can start to go, oh, I can see there's a bit of a theme there and I need to actually give that some focus, which is great. So you can be adding that into your notes. But now for the second phase of this particular episode, I want to go through what I call the secret to going big in 2020. Okay, so a lot of people miss out this very, very key step when they're planning. And I think it is one of the key elements of increasing your likelihood of going big, being where you want to be. So whatever that means for you in 12 months' time, actually getting there and, being in a place where you're like, yes, I am really happy with where I'm at. And so do you want to know what it is? It's a why. It's a why question. Why do you even want to grow this business? it seems really simplistic, and you're like, oh, Paul, I already know, it's this, and this. But most business owners are just quite superficial with this. They'll sort of go, I want to grow it for this, and this. I want to make this much money. And that's where it kind of ends. And the ability to go deeper on it, be very, very deep, like go on a very intrinsic level around this question is, like I said, it's the magic, it's the secret to going large when you're setting up your plans. Because here's the thing, most business owners will say, well, I want to grow the business because I want to make more money. Of course, we're in business to make more money. However, it's actually not the money that you're seeking. It's the things that the money will give you. So we have to remember that people are actually more likely, studies show people are more likely to be successful when they are already happy. So if you're someone who finds themselves going, I'll go on holiday when we get to this, or I will spend more time with my children when I get to this bit in the business, or I will make sure that I start exercising when I have this many clients, it's all backwards, okay? Because those are all the things. So, your children or your family, going on holiday, your health. Like if that was someone saying that to me, I would instantly know family, freedom and holidays and health are part of their value sets. Okay. And what you value is really, really important, because you're the creator here. You're the most important product in the business. If you're actually not fundamentally happy with how things are running and the way the business is supporting you as a human being, you're kind of behind the eight ball already. Okay. It brings resentment. A lot of us can end up feeling very resentful towards our business, feeling very stuck, and almost like, you imagine it's a relationship. You're not in love with it anymore. You're kind of feeling like you've fallen out of love with it. And I want you to fall back in love with your business. I want you to be so connected and so aligned and so in tune that you are excited. I'm currently shooting this right now from South Africa. I'm sitting in front of a gorgeous pool. I'm in a beautiful setting here. It just makes me feel so happy. But I didn't wait to get happy to sit here. I was already happy. And, the magic happens from that. This is all part of my values. It makes me feel happy as a human being. But first of all, I had to get clear on what those things were. So, for you, it's about getting deeper. It's about getting clearer so that we can have something that goes beyond motivation, because motivation just does not work. You can read studies upon studies. Like, this is why people often fail with exercise routines, with diet routines, because they're relying on pure motivation. And at some point, when you're tired, when you're feeling sick, or someone in your family is not well, or you've got personal issues coming up, that's when our motivation can run low. I'll give you an example. If I gave you $500 to run a marathon, you've got to run a marathon in the next 6 months. Some people might do it and they go, yeah, I feel motivated enough to do that. And they're going to do that. But I guarantee that, when you're tired or your feet hurt or something happens, a lot of people would fall off from that challenge, because there is nothing more to just, you'd start to like make up these stories in your head. At $500 isn't really all that much. Maybe you can make that really easily by working with clients. So all of a sudden you'd be like, yeah, I don't really need to run that marathon. And guess what? Business is a marathon. Okay. But what about if I gave you 50 grand? Okay, for some people, they'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm a little bit more motivated to run it now because the stakes are a little bit higher. But I guarantee on some level, there would still be a proportion of people who fell off the radar and didn't complete that marathon. But what about if we put the life of one of your family members online? Now, obviously, we're not going to do that. That is awful. But it's like all of a sudden we're having something more intrinsic come into play. And you can see where I'm going with this, in that we need to have more intrinsic things connected in the growth of what we're doing beyond just how much money we're making, because you, what you value, what makes you is so important. If you don't know what you value, that's okay. Most people don't go through values exercises. I do values elicitations with all my clients. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know what makes you happy. So this is the opportunity. I'd love for you to stop this podcast episode right now and think about, like, what's the top 5 things in your world? Maybe it's your family, your health, your spirituality, and maybe it's contributing to the community, charity work. What is it for you? I mean, for me, I know that my personal why is my family. My number one is actually my connection. My spirituality is first, because without that, I'm nothing. And then, from there, it's my family and my health, education and learning. Those things are so, so important to me. And if I'm not getting to develop those and contribute into those values as a human, I become really miserable and unhappy, and motivation just automatically drops. It doesn't matter how hard I push myself, it can start to really wane. And you are no different. So I want you to start feeding your mind, thinking about, like, what is it that makes me tick? Okay, what is my why? In 2020, what is my why? This is the beginnings of you really being clear on your own identity, not only as a business owner, but as a woman, and thinking about, don't worry about what the business is doing yet, just thinking about the things that make you happy and what you need in your world, just in general, to make you a happy person, because it starts there. Okay. So hopefully you've paused. Hopefully you now know at least your top 5 values and you've had some thoughts around that. Now I want to talk to you about the other why. And the other why for me, and it should be for you, is you guys. So you're there listening to me right now, my clients. Oh my gosh, I love my clients. I must be one of the luckiest women ever. I get to work with the most amazing women. But I love my community. I love my community over in the Sassy CEO Society. I love the way that we contribute into the conversation in women in business, the way that we support. And I just genuinely really love working in this marketplace. And so that really drives me. It helps me get up in the morning. As I've become a mother, I've also become even more driven to help women who have families. I sort of think about even their own children now, and that drives me to get out of bed in the morning. So it's a very, very connected with me as a person. So for you, what is your other why? This is about your marketplace. If you are not excited about helping the people that you help, about your customer, about your client, if you are no longer excited, it's really time to do some work and ask yourself some questions, some very, very big questions about, well, why are you not excited? Because for some women, it can be around feeling like it's not a win-win, and you maybe need to do some work around whether it's pricing or how you're working with people, what types of clients you're taking on board. If you're taking on only clients that are very difficult, that don't treat you so well, that's something to be looking at. But I want you to, again, fall back in love with these people. And if you can't do that, then there really is something bigger at hand here, and you need to really ask yourself, is this something that you want to be doing? So in order to actually be clear and to be able to start falling in love with them, I think one of the biggest gaps in the consulting space, in the service-based industry space, is women not actually being clear on specifically who they are helping. So how can you fall in love with them if you don't really know who they are, right? And for many of us, we just want to go, well, I help, you might say, well, I help women in their 30s. It's far too broad, and in fact, very difficult for you to make money or to grow your business when you're being that broad. I want you to get really, really clear. And a sentence that you might use to help you get clear on that is, we help. Notice how I use the word we, not just I, okay? Because I'm wanting you to already begin auto-suggesting that you have people to support you in this business. A business is not just built with you. You don't have to have 50,000 people in the business, but I want you to begin auto-suggesting from now that it's about we. It's a team. It's a team effort, and you don't have to do everything in the business. Even if you're unhappy with your team right now or you don't have anyone helping you, I want you to use the word we. Okay, so we help. And then in brackets, I want you to fill who that is. Who's the niche? Who's the marketplace? Be specific to get this result. So what result do you help them get? By, and then what's your offer? Okay, it's a very simple exercise. If you're not sure, take some time now to think about these things. This is the beginnings of laying the foundations for actually having something that you can actually begin to scale and grow. Get excited. Okay, so this is the beginnings, and this is also, it starts with you getting clear on who these people are and how you're helping them, which is how we also inject love back into it. So I'll say it again. We help, and then the niche or the marketplace, get this result by, and this is the offer. So I'll give you an example. So, for us, we could write something like, at Sassy CEO land, we could write something like, we help women who run client businesses, so freelancers, agencies, experts, and consultants, to get more clients, create more profits, and relish more time off by nurturing their growth in the Sassy CEO Collective, which is one of our programs. Okay, so we help in our niche women who run client-facing businesses So they're freelancers, agencies, experts, or consultants. 2, and then how do we help them get more clients, create more profits, and relish more time off by nurturing their growth in the Sassy CEO Collective. So that's just an example of how you could complete that sentence. And by doing that, what you're doing is actually creating the beginnings of what I call your mission. Your mission is really, really important. When we work with clients in Sassy CEO land, we talk about creating not only purpose, but also a mission for the business. And this is, something that is really the guiding light for the business owner. It's one of the key ways that we begin to help them, begin to formulate the business as something other than themselves. It injects the business with so much positively charged energy because it's not just about them anymore, but it really gives a business owner the opportunity to focus on something bigger than themselves, whilst also creating a culture that people want to come and help you and contribute towards whatever it is that you're building. So that statement that I just helped you to create is actually the beginnings of your mission. Okay, so that's really important. It's something that you could put at the top of your plan so that you're focusing on the people, the types of people you want to attract and the way that you want to help them. So that's just the beginning of your mission to lay the foundations for setting up your Sassy CEO strategic plan. So very, very important. So there you have it. That's the beginnings of laying foundations for setting up your plan. I didn't want to make this episode too long on purpose because I feel like it can get quite overwhelming. And a lot of the exercises that I've gone through today can seem very simplistic, but if you actually, like I said, take the time to action it and dive into it, have a little bit of quiet time and really turn up for your business as if, you are the leader, you're the Sassy CEO, and start thinking from this top line down, looking at your business. This is your opportunity to have that bird's eye view of your business. You should take a little bit of time to actually go through these exercises so that you can see the opportunities and the things that you can change by looking at the review, your wins and your learnings. And then by also starting to look at your big whys, so your personal whys, so that we're taking care of you, feeling happy as a business owner, and then also your professional whys, so that you can begin to actually develop your very first mission statement. So by the end of this episode, if you've got all of that ready to go, you'll be in a great position to then catch next week's episode, where I'm going to talk all around your revenue plan for 2020. Show us the money. So we're going to talk all about generating money, scaling your business, or having something that you can actually start to develop so that you have consistent income, feeling a little bit more confident about making sales, and genuinely setting really great targets for you personally. There are no cookie cutters at Sassy CEO. So I want to make sure that you're genuinely setting really great targets for you, so that it not only helps you to develop and grow your business the way that you've got, in your imagination, so that we can bring that into reality for you, but that it's, revenue targets that are also then going to, when we reverse engineer them, give you what you want personally for yourself and your family. So we're going to look at your revenue plan for 2020 in the next episode. So make sure you subscribe to the Sassy CEO podcast, just to make sure you don't miss that episode or any other episodes, because I'm always dropping value bombs. This is here to really increase the vibration and the types of conversations that we're having as women in business. So please subscribe if you know any other women that would also benefit from, going through activities like this, or really starting to change their mindset and the way that they're thinking about their business. Please share the podcast with them. We would love to also welcome them into our community and contribute to their growth as well. So make sure you're sharing the love. I really, really appreciate you being here. I'm hoping that you're having a great start to your year already. Don't forget, please come and join us over in the Sassy CEO Society free Facebook group. It's a membership over there that we have to really support women in business, especially women that are running client-facing businesses, freelancers, agencies, consultants, experts. We really want to help you succeed in business this year and beyond. So please come and join us there. If you head over to sassyceo.com.au, you'll see the links there to be able to find the group and join us there, and drop in any questions that you've got about your plans for 2020, or share your insights. We'd love to hear from you, and I'm always around to support in whatever way I can. So until next week, when I go through revenue plans with you, I can't wait to go through that with you. I will catch you all very soon. Bye.